further ado, I'm going to start the show now. The moment of testing.
Hello.
Mike. I hear you live and direct. You know, it would work eventually. It will work itself out, Patrick, you know?
Yeah.
As well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. Apologies to the people that have logged in expecting us to see at 10 o'clock on the dot, but had some technical issues. This is a platform I'm not used to. I'm SYLBOURNE. I'm used to Zoom and Microsoft Teams.
Yeah. But tell us at the same time, what's your platform, Patrick Morrison?
Okay, so
yeah, the real platform.
Patrick Morrison Broker House is a business that I run and started many years ago in the estate planning industry, where I am providing a service to the people in our community, educating them and fulfilling their needs with regards to wills, trusts, lasting power of attorney, inheritance tax, probate, and document storage. So it's about educating and supplying a service and going over and beyond what maybe some people will do in helping people that look like me and us and sound like me and us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And at this time, because you know, as it is Black History Month in the UK, this particular theme about living the legacy of Marcus Garvey or so, would you say that what would you say have been any sort of influence to Marcus Garvey with what you're doing as well?
The influence of Marcus Garvey is tremendous. It's not just because it's something I integrate within my business and my thought process, but it's something that I live and breathe every day. That I wake up and I sleep. My identity and how I am as a person and being there for people like us is imperative. We have not been a people that have been tremendously supported in so many different areas. And I find that the lack of knowledge in so many different areas is paramount to our lack of progression. So because I specialize in one industry, in providing a service, it is about education and empowerment and making people aware of the choices that's available to them, and then to make those choices in relation to their circumstances. And it's my job to highlight it. It's my job to point it out and then to guide them in the right direction and support them in that direction.
And when we talk about build generational wealth, what does that phrase really mean? And why is it so important today, especially within the Black community as well? Yeah.
Building generational wealth, it seems to be no disrespect to anybody or anything. It seems to be a pop word at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about generational wealth, but what does it really mean? What it really means is that the knowledge, the assets, what you have, your experience in life, your community cultural identity is passed on from one generation to the next. So it's not limited to an industry that I practice in, even though it's paramount, because it seems to be a popular phrase at the moment. But we need to go a step further and beyond. We need to not just look at generational wealth, but we need to look at community wealth. What does community wealth mean and what does it look like? Let's look at the word community. What it actually means is a group of people in a common place with a common purpose and principles and identities that they share, so they can make a social environment. Now, our identity and our communities have been broken down through many different ways, and the lack of economic and political, educational, health, food, transportation, it just goes on and on, that we do not have the power to empower ourselves and to lift ourselves up. So as much as I can educate families and individuals to look at how they can pass their inheritance down from one generation to the next, to be honest, Sylvan, that's not enough. It needs to be more. It needs to be wider. It needs to be a wealth, a community wealth that is practiced in our community.
And in the area of like of estate planning awareness,
Yes.
many people, especially in the Black and Caribbean community, don't always prioritize estate planning. Some of the, what should I say, the biggest misconceptions you encounter about wills and trusts. And before you even answer that, I can say that a few years ago, a good amount of years now, when I saw this guy and he was doing wills, and he said, you can do your will, and I said, I don't have my will yet. And then anyhow, I invited him and spoke to him and to come home to meet me and my wife and do the will. But for the week, Patrick, before the guy came up, I was driving so cautiously. Why am I thinking about wills? You know what I mean? And I was just driving cautiously because I'm just like, this whole thing about will, you know? Yeah, what is this misconception at the same time?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if we're breaking it down to a particular product, when we're talking about generational wealth, then yeah, wills is something that some people tend to shy away from. They tend to feel it's something that they need when they're old, or they tend to feel it's something when they need when actually on their deathbed, which in all honesty, that's when it's a bit too late. A will is just an expression of your wish on what you want to happen when you're no longer here. The inevitable is going to get to all of us at some stage. How we manage that and how we manage that asset transfer is very important. So my job is to highlight someone's particular situation, break it down into a form of communication that they can understand, and then present it to them in a logical step-by-step process of what needs to happen. And they don't need to do everything in one go. So in the early days, I used to face a lot of obstacles or objections or fears that if they're creating a will, I'm wishing death on them. Now it's just something that I'll get round to it. And there's no particular fear around it. It's just one of the things they don't want to think about right now. It's not necessarily related to death or I'm wishing death on them. It's just a matter of getting around to do the right things at the right time.
Yeah. And the whole bit about what so someone was never started for argument's sake. And what would you say then is like the age that one should start to think about wills? Because we normally think about it like in our 50s, 60s or so like that. But what age should somebody start to really think, people who are listening for argument's sake?
Anyone that's from the age of 18 can create. There's no anyone can take a will at the age of 18. The amount of 18-year-olds that take a will depends on the industry you're in. Yeah, footballers now and high performance sports people are taking wills a lot earlier than they used to because of some of the deaths that we've witnessed on the football pitch or accidents that happen in training grounds. Yes. Traditionally, people that start to reach 40 and above are looking at how to protect their estate and their assets from various taxes and loss of growth and how they wish to pass it on and who's going to look after the children if they're longer here, especially if the children are still young. So Marcus Garvey taught us that group economics, group cooperation, group faith, and African fundamentalism was really important in the way that we plan our lives going forward and how we do that. And that's what I try to incorporate in what Broker House does. So people do look far further and further abroad than where they actually are. So it's about relationships you have with your family and with your wider family and your community. How can you benefit some of the charities that are there doing good work for young and older people? What support can you give to a business owner that's starting their business? Yeah, certain tax relief for businesses by investing in a business. Is that the right solution for you? What risk is there involved in that? So there's so many different areas, Silver, that people can look at how they create generational wealth and how legacy planning can be incorporated.
And what would you say is a detriment or the real disadvantage of not doing wills? what people, who benefits from that?
Well, I know you're leading with this. It's totally understandable. The government takes over. Yeah?
Yeah.
You are giving government control of what happens to what you have when you pass away. And some of those laws may not directly affect you, but subject to the complexity of your family dynamics and its breakdown, it could affect your estate drastically. More people are not living with one partner or married to one partner for their whole lives. They may have children from different relationships. They may have more than one property. They may more have property in a different country. They may inherit from a different country. Often, so all of these things have factors into how estate or assets are transferred if you do not have a will and if the government takes control. And plus, they're going to charge you for it.
And in this particular era, do you see, let's say from COVID period, did you see a sort of a rise or increase in the level of business, but of course the level of interest in this
There was a massive uptake in those type of services when it comes to wills and lasting power of attorneys, because people started to realize that they didn't have as much control as they thought they had. And also the fear of passing away without setting their affairs in order. But since COVID has alleviated a bit, and it's not so much in the public eye, and the death toll is not rising the way they were saying, then it has dropped off a bit because people are now taking their time in making those decisions and not feel like they've been rushed to do something.
So they're sort of dropping off, a sort of slack.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I take my eye off the ball when I'm dealing with my customers and incorporating in how I talk to them fundamentals that I believe are important to us as a people. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. But in order to understand your clients, you have to understand their situation. So you absorb their life. You have empathy with what they're going through. And because I do come from a Jamaican background, and I deal with people from the West Indies, there is an automatic line of communication, which is a lot easier for them to understand with me and them. And there's a bit more of a trust there after you have a bit of a rapport. And I understand their situation. I can identify with their situation. I then give off what I have. And giving off what I have doesn't just permeate them, it permeates their whole family. Because when I'm going to see some of the older people in their family, sometimes their children are there checking me out on social media. They want to know, who's this person come to see my mum and dad? And sometimes they're involved in the initial meeting process. Once the children are comfortable, they leave me alone with mum and dad. Or sometimes mum and dad don't want them in the room. It's entirely up to them.
Yeah, we got to hear it. Jamaica, you just touched on Jamaica a while ago. When you talk about wills and trust and all those sort of things, and people within the diaspora, especially Windrush persons, people who are on their end days, and they're sitting with houses, big houses, property, they're paid off their mortgage. What do you say to persons like those? I mean, should they just, people that want to sell it off, or what do you say to persons? They want to go back to Jamaica, but at the same time they got this property. What do you say to people? How do you advise, persons like those?
That question goes so far and deep, SYLBOURNE, because people's circumstances are different. You know what it's like, and I know what it's like. Yeah, you may have property in Jamaica. That property may not be registered properly. It may have been handed down by somebody to somebody else, and someone else is living in the property, keeping that property for you while you are in England. But when when grandma or granddad or someone died, that property was given to you to manage. Now in the UK, you have a HM Land Registry Service where every property is registered and every owner is registered. If it's not registered, it will soon be registered if you have to go through probate and they find out who identifies that property. In Jamaica, it's slightly different. Now, I don't understand the property distribution laws in Jamaica, but what I do know is that a lot of families own land in the West Indies which is not officially registered. And in order to pass through the estate by the correct process, that property needs to be registered. So it's something that they need to deal with at some stage. Yeah.
Well, Eric Huey, this one of your clients, has said, I recommend Patrick Morrison to anyone who wants to make a will. Mr. Morrison has been involved in my family for a few years now. He did my mom's power of attorney and also her will.
Yeah.
So they, as a matter of fact, it leads me to a point which I wanted to say, because you talk about wills and you talk about trust. Trust is so crucial, isn't it? Your business, in a sense, has grown from word of mouth. That says a lot about trust and reputation, isn't it?
Oh, that's crucial, SYLBOURNE. That's crucial. And that cannot be manufactured.
Yes.
That takes time. And your genuinity, how genuine you are, when you come across to people, and understanding your information, your craft, and breaking it down in terms that people can digest, following up in the correct manner, and making sure you're providing a service over and above that you said what you're going to provide, and do it in a timely manner, do it in a professional manner. It's just crucial in how we communicate with our own people, how we value them, how we value what they have and what they're giving to us, and the service we give to them demonstrates that. So it's paramount. It's paramount in building trust. And like I said, that takes time.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those on TikTok and those on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, I'm with Mr. Patrick Morrison, a PLM consultant, trading as Broker House Ltd, and talking about wills and trust. And it's very important at this time. And we're just exploring this particular area. And I just want to say that there's a long-standing working and close relationship with preferred partners across a wide range of services. Other than the wills and the trusts, what other areas would you say is so crucial? And also, I want to say, when you come to people and talk to them about money and properties, do they look at you with, I wonder why I'm on now?
Not really, SYLBOURNE. I'll be honest with you. I don't get that kind of feedback or vibration from people. I tend to meet people at their points of need, when they need something. I'm grateful for my customer base for recommending me to their friends and family. That's just paramount for me. That's how I build my business.
It comes a lot through recommendation then.
Without a doubt. Most of my business is by word of mouth and by recommendation.
Right.
And I'm grateful to my customers that do that. And some people who are not even customers yet are recommending me to people. They've had no experience of me apart from they've heard from me speak at an event or presented, or someone else has told them about me, and they feel, this is someone that could potentially help me. I know of someone that can do this. So when it comes to other services that people may need, I would only speak about the areas that I'm qualified to speak in.
Yes.
If they need investment advice, I put them in contact with the right financial advisor for investment. If they need mortgage advice, I put them in contact with the right person that specializes in all types of different mortgages. But I work with a team of people that specialize in specific areas, and depending on the person's estate, depends on the action that needs to be taken to protect that estate, and they make the best choice for themselves.
I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I put contact Patrick Morrison's details there. Sorry, Patrick, I should have asked you. Your mobile is okay there, yeah?
That's fine. Yeah, it's a business number.
Yeah, the inquiries there and the website is there. And as I know Patrick for years as well, we've been to different places as well.
Yes.
Persons, if you're watching and you're listening and you want Patrick to come and talk to your church and talk to your organization, that is what it is about, because you go into these places with a heart, Patrick, to really help persons there. And then therefore, that's how one generate partnership, isn't it?
Yes. Relationship is key in anything that we do. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
To develop relationship, you've got to be relative to people. They've got to identify with you. You have to identify with them. You have to have empathy regarding their situation, their journey in life to where they are at this point.
Yeah.
And you have to take time and put a solution together that reflects that journey in their life, because the end or the latter life journey is just as important for them. And you've got to treat them with respect and dignity, no matter what stage of life they're in, or where they are at the current stage in life.
I must say, when we talk about estate planning and all these sort of things, and they say it sounds intimidating, it is also an intimidating thing when one, it is not their area of specialty. Um,
Yeah, it is.
how do you make these complex financial tools easy to understand and accessible to everyday people?
Oh, Sylvan, to me, it's quite simple. I don't want to
Yeah,
be disrespectful to anybody else,
yeah,
but for
yeah,
me, it's quite simple. I just
yeah.
treat people as people. Yeah? I
Mm,
look at them and I just break things down in simple, well, I say simple English, and I just give different scenarios of explaining that situation. You have to understand that
mm.
we are now coming into the area of estate planning and taxation, which didn't affect us in the past.
Yeah,
We never really acquired wealth like that, but a lot of us have bought houses and we've sat in those houses, and those houses have grown in value. And we've also acquired savings, and we may have inherited some money as well, not all, but some. So all of a sudden now, we are now having conversations that we would not have maybe 20, 30 years ago.
mm,
So things are affecting us, which wouldn't affect us 20, 30 years ago. And what's affecting us now is also going to affect the next generation and how they manage that. A lot of people have started to invest in property and acquired a nice property portfolio. There's changes in tax laws and positioning, um, that's going to cause people some problems and how they manage that tax situation. And there are advisors out there and specialists out there that can advise them how to do that, as
yes.
well as how to distribute their estate when that time comes. So certain other solutions and products come into play at that stage.
I'm not being facetious, but I'm going to get a bit political to a certain extent, with
Fire
the
away.
with the opposition leader alluding that I'm going to be vote me in and we'll take off the stamp duty. What would you say about, okay, say for instance that happens and stamp duty is off, and persons come to you and say, hey Michael, sorry, hey Patrick, what's going down now? How can we acquire some other things with what we have there? What would you say, or what are the implications of stamp
Has
duty?
been there for many years, and the barriers exit to it and the effects of it has changed over the years. Right, so
Yes.
that's nothing new. Okay,
Mm,
they've tried to make stamp duty a little bit more attractive for first-time buyers,
mm,
but the middle range stamp duty, the promise raised, it's raised, remains the same, but it's also raised in value because they need to acquire more tax.
mm.
Now, you say we're going to get political, yeah?
Yeah.
Being political under the current system that we have here in the UK, this is all I know,
Mm,
then it begs to wonder, do we have a political agenda for ourselves as a people? Are we being led by a political system down a political road that has it really benefited us over the decades? So I think it's important that if we are starting to get political about our money,
mm.
our assets, what we've acquired, and how we wish to use it, then we better get political about a community and a group and practice that benefits us and our generation going further down the line.
So what you're saying then is that as a people, we should be building up, while we build up the economic clout, we should be building up the political clout at the same time.
We should be building our wealth clout, our
Yeah.
educational clout, our health clout in every area that our lives touch. We should have an element of control or an element of say. Our communities need it. So we can practice generational wealth, like I said, which is good,
Mm,
but we need to go further. And once you start practicing community wealth, then now you're starting to be a little bit, you're not selfish anymore. You've
mm.
got to start to look wider. And that takes a bit more of a risk from yourself. And that's where the trust element is going to come into it. And that's where the community element comes into it. Because what sort of identity, what sort of purpose, what sort of mind do
Mm,
you have to do what you say you're going to do for the people who you say you're going to do it for? Are
mm.
you doing this money for yourself? If that's the case and you're selfish, it is not going to work. But if you're doing it as a group collective to benefit the group, and you have a strategy and a plan to do that, you know how to do it, and you've got the people around you to support you do it, it can work. And that's what Marcus taught. That was some of the philosophy that Marcus was speaking about, and some of the 7 principles.
Well, one of the principles, one of the quotes of Marcus Garvey that says we must have a government of our own, a government to protect our interests. Now, when you hear the word government there, can there be a government within a government, or a structure in the sense of the we building a structure is in the sense a government under the government running?
Well, I think we already know that in this country there's a government within a government, and there are communities within communities. That look after themselves and manage themselves in the way they want, and they do it on different levels. We have just failed to do it effectively enough and make enough noise about it. So there's nothing that we can't do, SYLBOURNE. We don't need to look at other people and put them on a pedestal and say, they are the example.
Yes.
Okay? We're the ones that are supposed to set the example. We are the salt of the earth. I'm going a bit far here now, but at the end of the day, let's have pride in ourselves. Let's have confidence in ourselves. One of Marcus Garvey's quotes, which is dear to my heart, a black man without confidence is twice defeated in the race of life.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to have confidence in our ability and in our belief, in our imagination, in our creativity, and being able to produce something. Now, it may take a while, we may fail, but you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. So it's said, but people identify the failure more as a sign of weakness than a sign of success. You reverse that psychology, you learn more from your failures than from your successes, so you become stronger. You know what to do, what not to do, how to do it to go further.
I want to ask persons, if you have any questions to shoot at the same time to Patrick, so please do. Welcome Azania, welcome Kerry, welcome different persons on TikTok as well. Feel free to shoot any questions to me so I can put it to Patrick. Patrick, when you see the this is Black History Month, the Black community with what you're doing, and you're going out there in and out within the community, what do you see as our greatest challenge?
Our greatest challenge is to trust and to believe in one another. That's what I see. I'm not saying what anyone else sees. I see a weakness in the community to provide a community service for the community. Now, I might be living a sheltered life. I might be stuck in my own little conclave, living my life, doing what I'm doing. But I believe that our older people, as they get older, deserve care, respect, and dignity. I believe our young people need confidence in their education system, confidence in the people educating them, to raise their self-awareness and their identity and believe in themselves, in their ability to do something, and not to be measured against a system or a system of measurement which they don't recognize or doesn't recognize them.
No, that is really powerful, in a sense, because all of this underpins, in a sense, like what we've been talking about regarding the Marcus Garvey factor, the legacy, what our belief in, as well as a people. I believe that is so important. And the other bit also is that, and I'm going to go back to this bit again about the driving passion in helping people secure their legacy. And I'm going to go back to this person, this elderly person. They've got their children and they've got this pot of wealth. And what are some of the things that happen sometimes if people are not educated, whereby they can have a big property paid off, goes to the children, and then somehow it just disappears?
The ideal world, SYLBOURNE, is that our older people and the families and extended families live peacefully and harmony and well together. That's not always the case. And it doesn't just affect us as Black people. I go into many different households and many different nationalities, and it affects everybody.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. We have to be sure that the reasons why generational wealth is not sometimes being transferred is because of relationship breakdowns.
Mm.
Okay. Some people do not live well with one another. They have a different type of mentality with regards to having an automatic right to inherit, or believing they should inherit more than what they're entitled to. And that can create problems. Okay. Understanding that this is a gift. It's a gift that's been given by the giver, and they are making a choice which they feel reflects their wishes. Now, before I get there, or even before I complete what I need to complete, I encourage my clients to have the conversations with their families regarding their choices, because it can make things a lot easier rather than doing things in private behind closed doors. And then everything comes out in the wash when that person dies and everyone's left in surprise. Don't make people surprised. Let them know where you stand and where you're at from the outset, and what you want and what you want to achieve. And I can help them do that, because sometimes the washback is not very good. You call it a washback.
They say sometimes, like in Jamaica, this is one of the greatest things that happen all the while when people pass away, is a fight over deadlift or so like that.
And the thing is, it's not exclusive to us, SYLBOURNE. So we're not bad. It's not ideal. It's not exclusive to us. It happens to everybody. We may magnify it more because, the people that look like us sound like us, and we feel it more. But we're no worse or no better than anybody else. It's just human nature. But that takes education.
Yeah.
That takes sharing and providing a service that lifts people's knowledge and idea up as to what needs to happen.
So, okay. And so therefore it's good not to beat ourselves up.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. I think you had Stephen Green from the president of UNA Jamaica. And
yes. Stephen Gordon. Stephen Golden.
Golden, not Green. Yeah. And basically they were talking about having black pride. Having pride in yourself, having pride in your identity, and having pride in what has been achieved, even though we know more can be achieved. But I think we've done well, but we need to do more. Don't rest on our laurels. There are different levels that we need
done well from where we're coming from. And of course, the vision for the future to be very assertive and be very robust as a people. I think that is so important. Within the UK, widen the scope, within the UK, in the sense of black leadership, how do you see that, in a sense? Because we are seeing there are a lot of children which are growing up, and we are seeing the few leaders that we have up there that you can see. What do you say about black leadership in the UK? How strong is it? Or
that's difficult for me to answer, because I don't really focus on it, and I don't want to be judgmental of anybody that's actually doing some work out there that I'm not aware of. I know of some black charities that are doing fantastic work. I know of the charities. I don't know of the leaders as such. So, if you're out there doing something, I applaud you. More people need to support you, and we need to be made more aware of these charities and these leaders that are doing community work, so we can support them even more. Yeah.
I was speaking to a young gentleman today. We're about the same age, and we're all young. I mean, Patrick, you just bearded up your beard. You just died. But we were talking about, like, it's so important that we go into black shops and black supermarkets and black to support them, and we both came to an understanding that yes, the prices are a bit higher, but because of the fact that they're small and they don't do things in bulk. But it's so important that we actually do support them as much as possible, so therefore there can be a growth.
And I think this works both ways, SYLBOURNE.
Yeah.
I want to support black businesses, but black businesses have to support me.
Yes.
If I walk into a shop, I want to be served. I do
Mm.
not want to be ignored.
Yeah.
My clients would not expect that from me if I walk into their house and I ignore them
Yes.
in any shape or form. I
Mm.
don't just mean by my attitude, I mean in every way I serve them, in the way that I dress. Do I ask to take my shoes off before I enter their house? The way I greet to them, how I speak to them, who I dress first, who I don't dress first. I give them respect.
Mm.
And I look for the type of respect that they want. So I ask for it. So if I walk into a shop, I want to be served in exactly the same way. I want to be looked upon as someone coming in with their hard-earned money to spend, or their hard-earned time to make a decision on how to spend, what to spend.
So
So give me the information that I need to help me make a decision. I want to support Black businesses. Black businesses are doing fantastic jobs, but we
yes.
can do more.
So therefore, need to line up. Need to line up.
Everybody needs to raise the bar. Everybody needs to raise the bar. The world is not going to sit still. Marcus Garvey was telling messages 100 years ago, which is only now really just coming to pass. He was a man ahead of his time. He was a man of vision, of dreams, inspiration, and he was very powerful in what he'd done. He was imaginative. He inspired so many people around the world. And we need to have that same sort of attitude when we're dealing with one another. When I'm dealing with you, you're dealing with me, I'm dealing with my clients. When businesses are dealing, whether you be a builder, a plumber, it doesn't matter. The list is endless. But you deal with your people with the highest possible value that you have the ability to deal with. That takes time,
Yes.
that takes effort, and that takes sacrificing yourself for it.
Yeah. You're sitting in the hot chair, so I have to say anything's going to be thrown at you, Patrick. At this point, with the advent of artificial intelligence, how does that play with what you're doing? How does that interwork, and how do you see that the whole artificial intelligence and society in a sense?
It's a tool that supports me, and it helps me do my job better.
Okay.
It provides information for me faster, and it helps me to clarify my thought process. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of anything like that. The human spirit is far more powerful than any technology. What you have inside of you is really important to give and to share with people. Now, different ages and different generations will deal with technology in different ways.
Yes.
Some people may not necessarily want to deal with me face to face. They will go straight on some form of communication service that they want to communicate with me, or fill in a form online with no interaction for myself, but with prompts. Some people, older people, or people who may be slightly more wealthier, want to look you in your eye. They want to sit down. They want to interview you to see if you're the right person to deal with them.
Yes. Yes.
With me?
No, that's very powerful. I've been having conversation with Michael Ramsey, an AI specialist, and we've been doing these discussions a lot.
Yeah.
And the last discussion that we had, a few persons who I know were very apprehensive about artificial intelligence. The way he broke it down, they say, well, they're coming around to the whole aspect of it. And that leads me on to even digital ID. I was speaking to someone today, and they were giving all the different reasons about why not to. And I said, well, hang on a second. I started to think about it. I said, but these guys have everything on me already. I mean, I go into the shop and my battery ran out on my phone, and I realized, shucks, I need to charge it because everything is on the phone. They use cash anymore, to a certain extent. So I have no, I'll be honest with you, I have no problem with digital ID. But what's your take on
There's no fear with technology.
Yes.
Technology has always been here, from the steam engines right the way through to the dial telephone, right the way through to having leaded, unleaded fuel and different types of engine and cars, remote control, this and that. It's always been here, and we've embraced it. Okay. The thing is, it's going to happen. You're not going to stop it happening by not embracing it. So the thing is to be involved and understand how it can improve your life and make us as a community bigger, better, and stronger. Can we use it to empower ourselves more than what we are at the moment? And it's something to embrace.
That is very powerful, Patrick. And Patrick, in closing now, tell us now, where are the places that you would like to go to engage with people, to speak to persons as well,
Okay,
community.
so
Yeah.
I've been invited to community groups and charities, and I've spoken to them on particular subjects. I've been invited to various business expos where I've been on a panel talking about my subject or my craft to a group of people. And,
Yeah.
I think without giving too much away, I mean, we've had discussions
Yes.
about potential plans and things that we'd like to do to
Yes.
reach a wider, reach more people,
Yes.
broaden our nets. In
Yes.
the service you're doing is very important. You've been doing this for a number of years now. You put some fantastic shows. I really enjoyed the Jamaican election
Yes.
that you had over the last couple of months, and it taught me so much
Some
about
sleep,
Jamaican politics
some
that I didn't know
sleepless,
before.
some sleepless nights I had, Patrick.
I can imagine, because I would have stayed up with you sometimes. I watched it the next day. But it was a service you were providing, and it
Yeah.
educated me.
Yeah.
So we need to use platforms like this. We need to have areas or environments where we can be in control of how we put on a seminar, how we
Yes.
put on a show, how we engage, how we educate people. About different forms of investing or protecting that investment and
Yes.
what to do. Question and answer sessions, having people where they can express themselves, either in a sort of form of a clinic, sitting down one to one. There's so many different ways, so many different ideas.
Yes. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, there's Patrick details there. His telephone number. You can always screenshot it. You can always go back to it because the YouTube link will be there. Sorry for those on TikTok. Sorry, on TikTok you don't have that information. 07788107000 is Patrick's number. 07788107000. But I do encourage you as well, those on TikTok, to come over onto the YouTube channel, SYLBOURNE TV. But at the same time, you can go to the website, which is brokerhouse.limited.uk, www.brokerhouse.limited.uk, and email is enquiries@brokerhouse.limited.uk. Very important to empower families. Patrick, just like when they had the Windrush period, and since I came to this country, one of the things when I was involved with a few organizations, I always see the elder folks there, and I always say to them, where are the children? Where's the youth? Where's your
That
sometimes
needs to be encouraged, Silver.
huh?
The conversations I'm having
Yeah,
with people that want to give away what they have, the
yes.
people who are receiving that gift need to be educators as well.
Yes.
When they receive it, what do you do with it?
Yes.
How you deal with it, and what are your options?
Yeah.
What are your plans? What are your ambitions? What are your dreams? How
Yeah.
can this fulfill that? There's no
Yes.
point just in my opinion, in my humble opinion, there's no point giving it away and it goes into a black hole.
That
We're not practicing group economics that way. Okay.
I never forget a bakery guy, a baker, and he had this bakery, and I said to him, "What's going on?" He said he wants to give it to his children, but they don't want it. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. But if that's the case, then that's more deeper than what Patrick Morrison can provide a solution for.
yes,
Okay?
yeah,
What are the areas of interest that these children have that do not want to have the bakery? Is
yeah,
it better for the individual to sell the business to somebody else and still remain a shareholder, or sell it outright
yes,
and pocket the proceeds from that sale and go in another direction? There's no point sitting around and thinking, well, they don't want to, I'm just going to give up. And I'm sure that's not the case.
yeah,
But let's start to look at some options that are available. Now, you and me may not be able to provide an option to that bakery, but the community may be able to provide an option to that bakery. Maybe the community or a collective can buy that bakery and keep it going. Who knows? But the options need to be there. But we need to be in a position to do that in the first place. So generational wealth can provide it to a point, but how do you take it to the next step? What is the structure? What is the plan? And how can it be implemented for group economics? Because don't forget, this is exactly what Marcus Garvey was talking about when it comes to self-determination. Having a sense of pride and having something, self-governance, governance. Yeah, all of these things is exactly what he was talking about. So we need to embrace it, use technology or AI to help us achieve that. And what are the products or services out there that can help us do it? There's lots of good things happening in the month of October because it's Black History Month. But as you and I know, Black history isn't limited to 1 month. We're grateful for what we have, but it's something we have to live out every single day. Yeah, so there's another 11 months in the year for our history to educate ourselves and learn what we need to learn to make us feel good about what we're actually doing and the reason why we're doing it.
Michael, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. But in the words of Marcus Garvey, one of the quotes is, "Up, you mighty race, accomplish what you will."
Yeah, and another one, sorry, I'm making notes here. One God, one aim, one destiny.
One God, one aim, one destiny.
Yeah. So what is, who's the God? What is the aim? What is the destiny? Let's create that. Let's create that. You and I are just a small cog in a bigger wheel, and there's lots of cogs there to fill that space to turn that massive industrial, community, political, educational, government, healthcare, technology industry around. Let's get there. It can be done, but it takes work.
Patrick, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to a part 2 of the show, but we're on the empowering stage. We're on the empowering stage. We're just going through.
Empowering stage is important. We need to go to a next level, Silver.
Into the next level, definitely. And this is not actually the. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see me sit down with Patrick, we did it already. It's on my YouTube channel. Just go onto my YouTube channel, SYLBOURNE TV, with Patrick Morrison, and there you see a longer version where we sit down, with suit and everything like that, trash out on the red chair. But since we are virtual now, we can actually develop and go wider at the same time.
There's no limits now.
No limits.
There's no limits now.
Ain't no limit.
Smart enough. We know what we're doing. We're passionate about what we believe in. So let's put our foot in the water and let's see what happens.
Yes. Patrick, listen, have a good night. Thank you so much. And my regards to the family as well.
Apologies for the late start. Technology. I wasn't fully up to grips with it this evening, but we got there in the end.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I always trust the process at the same time,
Yeah.
As well. All right. God bless you, Patrick.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, please remember, there's Patrick details there. I'll let it scroll again. There is detail. Patrick Morrison. Telephone number is there for you to actually tune in as well, as much as possible. Moving on now, I've got my next guest who will be coming on. I'm going to have Miss Jacqueline Bryan and Miss Dina K. Thomas. They're going to be coming on for the second part of the discussions and of the show. And as I said earlier tonight, we continue conversation with 2 incredible women who embody the power, purpose, and